You know what I'm really tired of? I'm really tired of being sick. Welcome or welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah. This is a Friday Reads. I'm going to talk about the things that I have read in the past 2 weeks because my bold ass last week stated, "Oh, my family's been sick the past week, but we're finally getting better." Do you want to take a wild guess what happened? Wednesday of last week, I thought, my throat feels sore. And then Thursday of last week, was it Thursday? Wednesday or Thursday, it was one of those days. I woke up and I felt like death had visited me. I was a mess. So there was no Friday Reads last week. I am still a little sick, so I'm very congested. I may sound it, I don't know if I do, and I'm going to try very hard not to snort and sniffle into the microphone. So this may be short, because I may not talk a lot, but here we are. Let's talk about the things I have read in the past 2 weeks while I have been ill. I believe the last thing that I talked to you guys about was Deal with an Elf King, and I believe I also spoke about, I was either reading or had just finished. No, I was reading because it's in my finished for this week's stack. Let's just talk about these two together. I read the first 2 volumes of The Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation by you know what, I really don't want to mispronounce their name, so I'm going to let you look at that yourself. This is the web novel that the live action drama The Untamed is based off of, and there is also, I'm aware now, a animation, I don't know what the, it's very hard to think when my ears are this clogged up, I'm sorry. I don't know what the animated version of this is called. It's not an anime, but the Chinese version of it. There is one on Crunchyroll I found out today, and I might try to watch it. My buddy read partner, my bestie, sent me a clip from it. But I did read the first 2 volumes. I finished volume 2 yesterday, and I finished volume 1 last week, and I am enjoying this. I forgot that this is the same author. I'm just going to hold up one of these. I forgot that this is the same author as the Scum Villains Self-Saving System. I think that's how that title goes, which was hilarious. I read the first book in that series some time ago, and I really liked it. I just never continued. So for some reason, I forgot this was the same author, and I wasn't expecting it to be as funny as it is. It is very funny. It also has this like incredible dynamic between these two. This is about our demonic grandmaster here. I'm still like remembering their names. Wei Wuxian, which I'm sure I'm probably mispronouncing these. He is the demonic grandmaster. He was not intentionally, I don't think, trying to be quote unquote the bad guy, but he was considered like this evil being, and so all these grandmasters came together and they killed him, and they said, all the controller of all these ghosts and stuff is gone, and he died. Now it's been so many years later, and a young man, in a fit of revenge and madness, performs this ritual where he basically gives up his body to a powerful spirit as long as that spirit will do his last wishes. And he ends up getting the Yiling patriarch, which is Wei Wuxian. Wuxian? Yeah. It's on the summary. I will link it below. He ends up getting him, and he ends up in the young man's body. So he is now running around in a new body. Now, the thing is, he had a lot of friends. He grew up in the cultivation world, and he knew a lot of people. His, rival, compatriot, maybe best friend, also just the guy he really liked to antagonize because he was always around, Lan Wangji, again, saying it wrong. He is the only one that figures out what's going on, because this body does not look like his old body. He looks like some other guy. He's the only one that figures out. They don't want anybody to know that he's back, because if they find out he's back, they're going to want to kill him again. And it's their kind of escapades together. But there's also this mystery they're trying to figure out of this individual whose body parts have been cut apart and then scattered, but the body parts are full of such malevolent energy that they're trying to get back together, and they're doing these things. In this one, the body part in question, I'm not going to spoil what it is causing some deaths and some chaos. They figure it out, and then they're like, oh crap, we're going to go find out where this body part, the rest of the body is, so we can put it to rest. So it's kind of the loose summary that I can give you. 2 books in, I'm going to learn how to say the names, and I'm going to get a better plot. But I really love this. There's so many things about this to like. The bunnies, oh my god, if you know, you know, with the rabbits. And then like the Yi City arc that is in the second book, which is basically a giant haunted city. It's just, there's lots of ghosts, there's lots of spooky things, lots of humor, lots of jokes. It's right up my street. My only complaint about this is that the pacing's a little weird and the scene jumps are a little strange. At one point in this novel, we went back in time for a huge chunk of time, and then we were back in the present day, and so now I keep expecting that time jump again. I have been told that the third book that I'm about to start is mostly in the past, so I am looking for it now, but like the pacing and the way it jumps is a little weird. But books 1 and 2 are very good. I'm very much enjoying it, and I can 100% see why everyone loves that series. It's kind of like a classic in the space. Everybody who reads Dawn May seems to really love it in one way, shape, or form. The other physical thing that I have read is, I'm trying to get everything together, The Innkeeper's Song by Peter S. Beagle. I received this copy from Saga. I really enjoy Peter S. Beagle, but I think I'm coming to learn that I primarily enjoy his short work. His longer work tends to draw out a little for me. I gave this one like a 3.5 star. It's very classic fantasy in feel, and it's a little long and dense at times. This is about 3 women at the beginning of the book. We're focusing briefly on this young man and this woman he's engaged to. She abruptly dies at the beginning of the novel and then is brought back to life and becomes one of these 3 women, this one here in the white. And then he begins to follow the woman who raised her. They're joined by another woman. And then these 3 women are trying to save this wizard who is in a fight with another wizard. They all end up at an inn together, the young man, the 3 women, and a few others, and we get like 5 or 6 viewpoints, and we head hop the whole time about what is going on. Now, there was a couple of scenes in the middle of this that were really awkward to read, and then, the rest of it was good. It was okay. There was some beautiful lines. I really liked some of it. The like ending, like when you find out what the Innkeeper's Song is, it hits hard as like a punch to the gut. I was quite taken aback by that. Whoa, that made me upset. I was like, but overall, left kind of on the fence. If you like some classic fantasy, if you want to read something that's older, it's been reprinted, if you want something a little different in that area, this is probably a great one to pick up. I'll definitely be keeping it. I don't know if I'll be reading much more of his longer work. I do need to reread The Last Unicorn. I have it on my shelf, but I may just settle on his shorter stuff because I really do love his shorter books. Oh, I do have his newest one, I Believe You Have Dragons or something like that. I think that one's supposed to be funny, so that one I'll still read as well because I have it. But it was okay. Everything else I read was digital. I read the newest Singing Hills Cycle book, A Mouthful of Dust by Nevo. I don't think I talked about this last week. Did I? No, it's not marked in my notes. This was great. So we have just finished, this is what, book 6 in this series? We have finished a big arc in this series where Cleric Chi has been traveling and they end up caught up in this almost war situation, and then they have to return to the Abbey. There's some stuff at the Abbey, and now they have left and they're off traveling again. This book focuses in on a village that they visit that has been recovering from a famine, and they want to get the history of that village. They're there with Almost Brilliant, and the food descriptions in this are almost Ghibli-esque. It's fantastic. There's always like a little bit of a mystery in these. There's a big ghost element to this one. as always, I love the Singing Hills cycle. This is a return to the stronger form of these books, so I really love these. If you've not read any of the Singing Hill books, I really, really recommend you do so. Cleric She is one of my favorite fictional characters. They are up there with Becky Chambers' Monk and Robot series. Like, these novellas are fantastic. I need to actually collect my own physical copies. I desperately want to. I just have not had the time or the money to do so, but I do love them. I continue to read them. So as always, I recommend the Singing Hills cycle. This new one comes out, I believe, in October. So you do have some time to read them. They're all very short. They're all novellas. So big recommendation from me. I love this series. I read another novella that I heard Books and Lala and Aaron talking about from Booked and Busy on one of Lola's videos, also one of their live shows, called Walking Practice by Dolky Mean. This one, wow, it's on KU, so please have at it. I wrote almost a whole page of notes, so I'm going to try to summarize this. This is a novella. We are in the head of an alien. They are telling us their life story and what they do for a living, which is they go out, they use dating apps to find matches for hookups. They do the deed, and then they eat the eat the other person. They live off of human flesh. It's the best food they found on this planet, and they just kind of exist. The story covers a lot of things. It touches on things like chronic pain and belonging and identity, because this alien can shift forms. They shift to whatever form they need to have a hookup with another individual and then eat them. It's interesting. It was grotesque and gruesome. It would say something beautiful, and then it would just turn around and say the most horrendous, atrocious, almost like offensive things. And it's just, the whole time you're just like, okay, let's go. And by the end of it, I wasn't ready to see my alien friend go. I was upset that the book was ending. So I really liked it. I don't know what it says about me, but I did really like it. It was hard to put down. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Again, on KU, it's translated from Korean, and I very much, if you like very weird, and I'm talking very crass, very crude, there's a chance it will offend you with the way this alien is talking about people. It's very out there, but it's very good. It's very, I don't know what to say about it. It's captivating. I enjoyed it. I gave it, I think, I wasn't sure. I put it on a 4.5, but it may be a 5-star. It was something, man. It was something. Wow. And then I believe, yes, the last novella that I've read in the past 2 weeks, I read a lot of short stuff, if you could tell, is Cathedral of the Drowned by Nathan Ballingrud. This is the sequel to Crypt of the Moon Spider, which I loved last year. I love spiders. If you're new to the channel, that's kind of one of my big buzzwords is spiders. I adore spiders. And this series is about a young woman. I think she's a young woman. I don't know. She may be in her 30s, but I think she's in her 20s. And she is sent to the moon to recuperate at an asylum. Her husband sends her because he believes she has hysterics. She has hysterics. This is set in the 1920s, and we have populated the moon. And on the moon, there is this mental health doctor, psychiatrist, psychologist. I don't know what he goes off as, but he is a doctor. And he is using moon spider silk. There it is. Moon spider silk to repair the brains of his patients. Now, it's a horror novella. That's not quite what's happening. That's not what's going to happen. And in this one, we kind of see Veronica's revenge, this woman's revenge. We see what has happened to her, and we follow the doctor, Dr. Cole, and Charlie, who is Dr. Cole's like bruiser, his muscle man. And we follow the two halves of Charlie, because Charlie, in the history of this series, has been split into two parts. His gentle, caring side was sent away, and then Charlie, the mean, rage-filled bruiser, is stayed by Dr. Cole's side. And we see what has happened to them now that things happened in the first book. Now, I loved everything about this, but, big but, this was going to be a 5-star book. It is now a 3.5-star book, because there was, okay, so I was going to say for absolutely no reason, but I can almost see why he would put it in there. But there is a scene in here, a on-page graphic scene of a woman assaulting a man. And the the shock factor is really, I think, what it came down to. What this was for shock factor, because I believe if you take that scene out, and it was less than 2 pages, but if you take it out, it has absolutely no bearing on the rest of the novella. There's a brief mention of it, which again could be changed, and it did not help any character growth. It did not aid in any establishing of, relationship rules. It wasn't handled in any way. It wasn't analyzed. It was only for shock value. And I really didn't like it. I don't like that in any of my books. I can understand some books can take that and use that to really explore characters and how they change and evolve from that. You can really look at that sort of thing if you do it respectfully and with care, but this didn't do that. It was just thrown in and it was for shock, and I really hated that. I hated that so much, especially since so much of this was wonderful. There was giant spiders, a space horror element, spaceships shaped like cathedrals that we had sent out. One is like drowning on Jupiter's moon Io. Like, it's got so many cool attributes, so much interesting things and ideas, but we didn't need that scene. And I'm very disappointed that it was there. So can I recommend this series, this novella? I don't know if I can with my whole chest. I will say Nathan has some very cool ideas in his horror. We just really didn't need the assault on the page. We really didn't need it. I will continue the series if it's available for review, but I probably will not have a physical copy of these just because, again, I disliked it so much. So that's my 2 cents. There, I know other people online don't have that problem with it, but I just found it jarring, out of place, and unnecessary, which is weird. If it's been a longer novel, it almost wouldn't have made such an impact. I would have been like, okay, well, let's move on. There's a lot more here, but because it's so short, it really left a bad taste in my mouth. And the last thing that I have completely finished this week, I'm sorry, not the last thing I completely finished, but the longest thing I finished this week, Bring Me the Head of Joaquin Murrieta by John, hold on, his last name is huge, Boysenecker? It's on here. This is about, the subtitle is, hold on, let me read it to you. The bandit chief who terrorized California and launched the legend of Zorro. Okay, so half of that is correct. You find out the legend of Zorro connection is loose, it's flimsy, but it's kind of there. Anyway, this is a history of the Gold Rush, California, and Joaquin Murrieta, who becomes a bandit, and he terrorizes is an apt word, the area. Now, this is really good. I really loved this. As someone who does not know anything about Californian history, the Gold Rush, anything like that, I grew up watching Westerns with my dad and my papaws, but that's the extent that I know, and even then, I found out most of that is incorrect. So I enjoyed this a lot. One of my favorite things about this was the way it was paced and structured. A lot of times leading up to the main meat of a nonfiction, you get a lot of buildup. It feels a little unnecessary, but this built extremely well. We got a lot of setting and culture information, a lot of people's histories, and it all wove together well in telling the story of Joaquin. Now, the most interesting part of the book, and I'm saying this having said that I really liked the whole thing, my favorite part was like the second to last chapter where we talk about his widow, Mariana, or Anna as her actual name is. He's like, there's so much murder in the Gold Rush, California, guys. There was so much murder. This guy killed so many people, just for days. People, I wish, it's something like 40-some people for sure, but there was probably more. But then the chapter on his widow, like, she goes on to form a cult. In the 1800s, she forms a cult in the desert. 700 people. That's a lot of people for that time. And then she hoodwinks all these people out of their money in this religious cult. And she gets away with it. The cult dissolves. It moves on. And she just leaves and moves to a new place. And she's fine. She goes on to become some guy's mistress. She's just living at large. It took a train to take this woman out. Took a train. She survived being the widow, the wife of the bandit chief of California. formed a cult, stole hundreds of dollars of money, and then just lived her own happy life. Evidently she was a drunk and a Looney Tune, but people liked her, and then it took a train to take her out. She had the more interesting life. Like, I almost wish we had a novel about her life. But yeah, I enjoyed this. If like Western Gold Rush history is your thing, maybe try it. You could tell me if it's any good. I don't know anything about the author or his other works. He does have quite a backlist, but I thought the topic was interesting, so I gave it a shot, and I did like it. I think it comes out in August or September, somewhere in there. Definitely look it up. And the last thing that I read is Breathe In, Bleed Out. I don't remember the author's name. I just finished it last night. I'll have it here on the screen. I read this for Camp NetGalley, so I could get the little badge on my NetGalley profile. It's super quick read. It's still going on, I think, so you can try it if you're on NetGalley. But this one is about Hannah, who lost her fiance recently in a mountain climbing incident, and she is recovering from the grief. She is a nurse or a doctor, and some stuff goes wrong at work, and her friend is like, hey, I've heard of this wellness retreat. Let's go on it with our friends. So her friend, and 3 other of their friends go to this wellness retreat. It's so campy. It's right outside of Joshua Tree, so it's like in the middle of the desert. Guru Pax is leading this, and he's, of course, a white guy, real tan skin. He's culturally appropriating everything he can, talking about enlightenment and all this stuff, and somebody starts killing everybody off. So it's that. It's a slasher in the desert with a wellness retreat. I tell you what, there was no wellness to be found. And this was pretty fun. It was very quick, very pacey read. If you want a fun slasher for, I think it's September, so this will be out around Halloween. If you're looking for a fun slasher, this could be really fun. I think it's from Poisoned Pen Press, so it's a smaller press. Definitely give it a shot. I don't read a lot of slashers. It's not my genre, so I can't really speak to like the validity of it or any like tropes or anything like that it uses, but I had fun. It took me less than 6 hours to read. I read it in like 2 sittings, and it was a fun read. It made me laugh out loud a couple of times, and the deaths were unique. There was some interesting kill scenes, so I'll give it that. So that's what I've read the past 2 weeks. I'm trying not to like snort on you. I'm so sorry. What I'm currently reading, I'm still working on Unruly by David Mitchell, which is a history, like a brief history of England's kings and queens. It's pretty funny, but it's slow going. I, of course, am going to start the 3rd Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation today. It's a little shorter than the second one, so hopefully I'll get that done quickly. And I'm also starting The Stone of Farewell by Tad Williams. This is the second of the, Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. I can't ever remember the series name. That we're reading for the big group read-along. I believe our live show for this is going to be August 10th. Somewhere around there. I'll post the announcement when Erin gets it up. So I'm starting that. And the book that I'm going to finish later today, I'm working at it right now, is Words of Power by Shami Stovall. I love this. It's so good. It's so good. This is progression fantasy, and it is about Rumi, who gets a ring of power, and in that ring is the ability to, you speak a certain amount of words, that's where the title comes from, and those words determine the abilities and powers you get from the ring, because you make a bond with the demonic / celestial beings that rule this world. He says a certain amount of words and a certain type, gets a certain power, and it's his learning to use that power and how he is going to become a powerful ring warlock. He is unusual, but he is fantastic. There is a animal companion. Oh, I'm so sorry. There is an animal companion in this that must be protected at all costs. This is very important. It's the best animal companion I have read about in a long time, and I love him so much. Not gonna lie, maybe sending an email to the author about how much I love this animal companion, because oh my god, a fantastic book. I really enjoy her books anyway, and this is just great. I love it a lot. I can't. It's already out. It came out this week. Please give it a shot if you like progression fantasy. It's so good. It's from Atheon, and I love it. I can't wait to finish it and get my own copy and put it on the shelf and just gush about it. That's it. It's everything I am reading, everything I have read. I'm trying to think. I got one NetGalley arc today. I think it's the only NetGalley arc I've gotten recently, and it's Tim Curry's new memoir that comes out in October, so I'm going to read that soon. What else do I have on the docket? Not much of anything else comes to mind. I'm trying to read my physical books, but I keep getting caught up in like stuff for timed events or buddy reads, so we'll see. I will talk to you guys next week, hopefully with a shorter video and with less congestion and sinus infection. So until then, guys, let me know what y'all reading, what you think, and I'll talk to you again then. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.